Hi everyone, Jerry Bellini here. Welcome to the tiny house and welcome to Stitch and Storytime week 13, I believe. This week we are going to make a bumblebee and I am using pearl cotton number 5 and I have black and I'm using this variegated yellow and a micron pen because I just drew a little oval, kind of the shape of a bumblebee. I'm using a number 1 milliner's needle, and the only reason I know that this is a milliner's needle is because it came from Sue Spargo and it is in my needle roll. So I took it from here, the number 1s. So really you kind of have to go by what size thread you're using. So I have a couple different sizes of these, and the thread that I'm using will fit best in this eye. So that's why I'm using the number 1. And we are going to do this as a voiceover. Oh, before we do that, I wanted to tell you that I saw the bumblebee in my book, Creative Stitching, sorry for the glare, by Sue Spargo. It's right there. And she's using the Bullion Knot, which we've already done. So we're basically going to do one of these bumblebees with the Bullion Knot. Simple City. All right, let's get started. Okay, so I already have my oval drawn on my piece of recycled cloth. And that's just a guide. So you're going to try to go over it so you don't see it. And cut your thread 18 to 20 inches long. Don't make it too long. Before I talk about the thread, you see where I came up? I came up just next to the outline. And I wanted to tell you about this wrapping. Do it very loosely. You can't really tell in the video that I'm doing it loosely, but do it loosely because you won't be able to get your needle out. And so if you're having trouble pulling your needle out, just try to redo it and do it loosely. Now I'm showing you a ruler there because I want to show you that the back stitch that I did first is 1/4 of an inch and the wraps on the needle are bigger than that, because we want the Bullion knot to be not laying flat on the cloth. We want it to kind of have a little arc. And I will, once I make 1 or 2, I think I hold it up and I show it to you. So whenever I get started, I'm always a little fumbly. As we go along, I'm going to show you what I discovered, how to put your finger on the knots and not have them unravel. So after you do the little stitch, the little Bullion knot, you go down into the back and then you just come up again on the left side or the top. I'm working top to bottom, but you could work left to right or right to left depending on what handed you are. So you don't go right next to each other. You're leaving a space for the black. And that very first row of yellow, on the left of that, you're going to put a black Bullion knot. So I'm wrapping more than I need. And I can't give you a number because I don't know how big your bumblebee is. So maybe you want to just experiment and make sure that you have just a little bit more than you need to lay it flat. And don't cut your thread too long. Cut it 18 to 20 inches long. No longer than that, because it starts to unravel, especially if you're using this pearl cotton. You see it's got a twist in it. It actually will start to unravel. So every time you do a Bullion knot, you should let your thread with the needle dangle out in the air to untwist. Okay, so you see how much space I'm leaving in between? Now do the yellow first, and now I'm showing you that it's like a little arc. So leave a space in between each row to put the black in, and do the yellow first, because what happens by doing the yellow first, when you do the black, the black kind of takes over a little bit more than the yellow, and it just makes the yellow recede just a tiny bit, just enough to look pretty authentic, I think. I think it came out really cute. So we already did the bullion knot. I'm not going to explain this ad nauseum, but I'm coming out right next to the hole to do the wraps, and try to keep your hand loose when you're doing the wraps. Okay, so that's what we're doing right now. And to see how easy it is to pull that out. Now see, watch my thumb on my right hand. See, I go down and I kind of pinch, and you do have to kind of put your left thumb on top every once in a while. So I kind of pinch the end so it doesn't unravel. You see how it didn't unravel at all? It's just naturally going to be a little thinner on that end than it is on the other side. It doesn't bother me. So, okay, so you're going to do a couple of rows of the yellow, and depending on how big you drew your bumblebee outline, that's how many rows you'll do. And when you get close to the end on the right side, just leave enough space for 2 rows of black. Okay? All right, I'm in the house. It's raining. I don't know if you can hear the rain or not from in here. I love it. It's supposed to rain for the next couple days, I think, on and off. So, all right. Don't forget to dangle your thread. I'm just looking at my notes. Don't forget to dangle your thread. And the stitch is really not as hard as it looks. I look like I'm fumbling a little bit while I'm creating this because my hands are so far away from my body to be under the camera. But this is really quite simple. If you were just sitting in your cozy chair, you could do this quite easily. And you'll see the middle stitches are a lot longer than the ones on the end. Makes sense. All right, let's see. Yesterday was Pirate Weekend. And what is that? It was so fun. So the kids got to make boats out of cardboard and duct tape. You couldn't use the fancy duct tape, and you just cardboard. And then they have a race across the lake, and it was so fun. So my one of my littles was in a boat with her friend, and she won second place. So we were really happy about that. It was so stinking hot, it's not even funny. All right, jump back over to the video. You see what I'm doing here? I'm ending off my thread, and I'm actually like weaving it because it's very loose back there. You can't just put your thread underneath one of the back stitches. So I kind of had to weave it a little bit. And you notice I didn't go down to the nub because as soon as I started seeing that thread untwist, I stopped. So cute. And I really like the way it looks with the variegated thread. All right, so that was Pirate Weekend. And then they had a movie or something at night, and the kids could play in the lake and watch the movie. But we had a thunderstorm, so that got canceled. Bummer. It's usually a really wonderful event, but it was so stinking hot, I couldn't stand it. So now I'm putting the black part at the bottom of the bumblebee. And so yesterday, it was very crowded. It always gets crowded for Pirate Weekend. There was this camper that pulled in out behind me. And this is typical because this used to happen to Brian and I. We had a camper when we traveled around the country, and we had a travel trailer. And we would get to where we were going, and I was told to get out and be the director and tell him how to back in. And he'd say, if you can't see me in the mirror, I can't see you. Well, I couldn't really see what was going on. Like, he would maybe hit a tree if I wasn't in a different spot. So obviously I couldn't see him in the mirror. So we used to have fights about this all the time. So that's what was going on out here. Yesterday there was this couple, and they were arguing because, you know, he couldn't back in, and she couldn't see, and the whole thing. And I saw a couple weeks ago, somebody actually had a sign. Oh, I meant to take a picture of it. It was so funny. It said something about the couple was saying that the entertainment for the campground is to sit and watch people park. And isn't that the truth? Because this is the very last time that I helped Brian park the camper, we got into this big fight, and it was here in this campground. And he starts yelling at me. I start yelling at him. I jumped out of the truck because he's telling me to help him, and I'm like, I don't want to. I jump out of the truck, and I'm screaming, and everybody's looking at us laughing. And I said, just get one of the campers to help you. I said, because one of the men, because I just can't do it. And so that was the last time I ever did it. Oh my gosh. But it was funny to watch. It happens all the time. All right, let's see what the bumblebee is doing. It's starting to look good. Now be careful when you're doing the rows in between the yellow. Make sure, take your time, and you'll see that I'm poking the needle in and poking it out and poking it in. You don't want to split the needle into the yellow or into another thread. So just be really careful. Try to spread the two yellow rows and get your needle in there. Yep. I'm analyzing it. Okay, so I had a couple of thoughts. Well, one is I am starting to get bored with doing the scroll. I told you that was going to happen. And there's so many other things I want to do. So I will occasionally do, an embroidery stitch if I feel like it, or like a bumblebee or something that calls to me. Like, I don't know why this morning I saw this bumblebee and I was like, I want to make that bumblebee. But I'm going to finish my scroll. I was actually going to do that on the video with you today, but that's really boring. I have to do some slow stitching on top of some of the patches, and I think, I don't know, I'm not quite finished with it, logically finished with it, but I'm mentally kind of finished with it. So I think I'm just going to set it aside for a moment, because I want to do some other things. Like, I really want to paint fabric. I've been wanting to do that since last year. And there's an artist that I follow on Instagram. Her name is Victoria Gertenbach, and she paints on cloth, and I love her work. She does books. She makes books, cloth books. I'll put her link below. I love her work, and she actually doesn't live too far from me in Pennsylvania. So we were messaging a little bit on Instagram, and I would love to meet her, but that was a sidebar. She told me about this Amish, I think it's Amish or Mennonite fabric store, not too far from her, that sells, she had a name for it. I'll try to insert it in the video if I can remember what it was. It's cloth that was made that can no longer really be used. Nobody really wants to use it, so it's like dead stock. And they sell it in this big bin, so it's pieces. It's sometimes they have it on the bolt too, but it's a lot of pieces too. And so she goes and you buy it by the bag. You shove stuff in the bag, and it's like $1. So Brian brought me out there and I bought all this stuff. It's not necessarily cotton. It could be anything. So I bought a bag of stuff and I want to paint it. So I want to do that with you guys, paint on cloth. And my moderator in my Facebook group, Dawn Collins, and she has a YouTube channel. It's Draw Tangles with Dawn. I'll leave the link below. She left a comment on one of my videos the other day. Uh-oh, look what happened on the video. It started to come out, but I'm going to save that. Watch. I put my finger there, and I'm very careful on how I pulled that out, and I didn't have to take the whole thing out. Anyway, she said to me in a comment, and see how I'm putting my thumb there? That is like a game changer right there. Put your fingernail at the end, and the whole thing won't unravel. She said, have you ever jelly printed with fabric? And I had to think about it. I don't remember. So I possibly could have, but if I don't have a recollection of it and I don't have any cloth laying around that's got jelly prints on it, I'm thinking I didn't. So that's another thing I really want to do. So I said to her, oh, Dawn, I'm going to make a video with that. And then I thought maybe we could make a cloth book or something fun. So I'm going to experiment with that. I have a few ideas on how to use up some ugly fabric that you have. I thought that would be fun. And I want to do Mommy-Gami. I want to do Mommy-Gami bad. So I bought, before I left the house in Pennsylvania, I bought, I don't know how you pronounce it, cognac? I don't know. It's Konjac. It's a powder. So if you're a diehard Mommy-Gami maker, you would maybe use this. And I'll get into more of the specifics when I make a video on it. You can use lots of other things. You can use tapioca starch. You can use olive oil, coconut oil, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to have a play with that. I bought the cognac. I know it's not that. That's something you drink. I'm going to use that, but I'm also going to use some of the other things. And then what I would like to do is do some projects with it. So you see why I'm getting a little tired of doing the scroll. I want to do some of that, and I have other ideas too. I have a lot of ideas. So I have stuff for Fridays, and then I have all this stuff that I want to do. So I'm going to squeeze it into Tuesdays. Oh my gosh, there's just too much activity going on in here today. And I actually went in the quiet part of my house and shut the door. So I was interrupted by a neighbor who was knocking on the door for a good reason. My new neighbors 2 doors down, the one that had the house pulled out. Remember I was telling you about that they pulled out the camper? Well, it wasn't really a camper. It was a park model. So that was quite interesting to watch that. That was a sidebar. Anyhow, they have a motor home, and they brought their motor home down while they're waiting for their tiny house. They're getting a tiny house too. And their cat got out of the car when they pulled up, and the husband opened the door. Their little kitty ran out the door. Oh my gosh, was she mad? Of course, right? Well, so we were all on a hunt trying to find the cat for the last 10 or 15 minutes. And Stella was found underneath one of the houses, and she is safe and sound. She was only gone for a couple minutes. So now I can move on with my story. So where did I leave off? I was saying that I want to do Mommy-Gami, and I was also saying that I want to switch it up a little bit on Tuesdays, but I will continue to try to do something on Tuesday that does not require a lot of thought so that I can give you some yaya, because I know you like that. So I will do that, and I'm pretty sure I can jelly print and do that at the same time. I could always do a voiceover because I'm getting quite used to doing these. They're yeah, they're kind of easy to do. Thank you so much. All right, now I'm in the sunroom, so now you're going to hear the air conditioner running and who knows what outside. Okay, where did I leave off? Okay, so I did want to give you a little update on our Zoom, or our Zooming project that I mentioned in a video recently. We did set a date, August 13th at 2 o'clock, and that's Eastern Standard Time. So do look it up and see what time that is for you. I did get some people to help with that. And I got 3 people from my Facebook group, and a dear old friend is kind of going to be spearheading the helpers. So there's 4 ladies that are willing to help with that. If you're interested, make sure that you have an updated version of Zoom on a computer of some sort, or some sort of a tablet or an iPad. Or if you're familiar with how Zoom works and you're comfortable with a phone, then use your phone. I would not recommend it if you're brand new to it. I think you should try to use a computer or something that's a little bit bigger. It's a little hard to manage on a small device. So the first meeting we're going to have, I think I'm going to limit it to a certain amount of people, and I am going to do a video about it, so you'll have all the particulars in the video. But I'm thinking it would be a good meet and greet, and just something for us to get our feet wet with how to use the platform together as a group. And then I can also explain to you what you can look forward to seeing in the Zoom projects. And we'll have to give it a name of some sort. So look forward to that. There will be a small fee for that, the meetups, that is. And I will let you know, like I said, in our in a YouTube video specifically for that. Okay, sidebar. I did get a video created for my Kofi supporters. I've been trying to do this for a long time, and I think it is super cute. It is a crossbody bag for your phone, and do take a look. If you're not familiar with Kofi, there's a link in my description box below, and it's a way for you to contribute for me to continue to make free content for you guys on YouTube if you are able to. So my way of saying thank you is to make some extra content over there. And please go over and take a look. I'm very proud of the bag. I think it came out super cute. All right, the next thing and last thing I want to talk to you about is the dots. I've been thinking about them because they are so popular, and how can they be implemented into a project where we can be, if I can explain this properly, we can show our gratitude and kindnesses towards others. And so years ago during COVID, I made these caregiver pins, and I think there's a link in the video. Not a link. I think there's a video down below, and so it's from a couple years ago about it. And they're cute. They're just super simple. That I used a safety pin and some cloth, but I was thinking of putting a little circle on them. And what made me think of all this was one of our community here on YouTube left me a comment quite a while ago, and she's from South Africa, I believe. And she said in South Africa, DOT stands for do one thing. And she explained to me it was like do one kindness towards someone. And so, you know, I'm all about being grateful and, of course, being kind to one another. And I love the random act of kindness. I just always have loved that. People make rocks and they leave them around, and it's just a little way to let somebody know that you know, that they're loved and stuff like that. So I think it fits in really nicely with what my channel is all about. And so I'm going to make a specific video for it, but I just wanted to put that in your head. I'm going to keep it really simple so that anybody can do it. Even if you have shaky hands, you can't see, you don't have to have perfect stitches, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So look forward to that video coming up in a few days. And that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the bumblebee. I think it came out really cute. And as always, keep moving, just play, no rules, and remember to be grateful for something today. And you know I'm always grateful for you, and I know you're always grateful for so many things because you tell me in the comments. All right, guys, I will see you soon in a couple more days, and I'll say bye for now.